I want you to know it's a spiritual battle. And I want you to know what's happening in my country, LA, right now with the riots. And then I guess they plan to do them around the country in at least other cities and states. The riots, under the pretense they care about the illegal aliens, the criminals. Well, they're all criminals if they're here illegal, but it's all for money and power, and somebody is brainwashing these people to do this stupid stuff they're doing, and they don't know, they can't see. And so, but the one thing I realized that they're going to try to do, as they did in the same way they did with the Great White Hope during the election, they tried to deceive you to make you think what you were seeing were not really happening. They were trying to make you think it's not happening. But you thank God, because of other outlets, news outlets, online and Fox News and places like that, that you can see what's going on, even though they're going to tell you it's not happening. The politicians, especially the media, and the Democratic politicians, they're going to tell you that it's not happening, but you're going to see for yourself that it is happening. And so when election time come again, midterm, you can vote these people out, because they can't deceive you like they've been able to do in the past with the help of the media. It is happening. And don't forget, they're doing, last time with Black Lives Matter, there was an insurrection with Black Lives Matter on America. They told you that was a peaceful protest. It really wasn't happening. And then they blame everybody but themselves and Black Lives Matter, far left radical group, Black Lives Matter, right? And so, but I want to play for you some sound bites. I want to play for you some sound bites of what's happening in LA, this riot. And that way, it'll be clear. You can always podcast or watch it again, because it's amazing how the Democrats just lie to you. Oh, no, you don't see what you really see. It's not happening. Or it's because Trump is bringing in the military or the National Guard. It's Trump's fault. It's their fault. If they didn't bring in the military, it wouldn't be happening. Or if they didn't go out and collect illegal aliens, it wouldn't be happening. Like, it's our fault the illegals are here. Well, poor children, the mothers and the children can go with the father. All they're doing is going back home. It's not like they're going to a strange land. They're already in a strange land, right? So all they have to do is go back to wherever country they came from, and be at home. Hake is telling me they'll try, Hake of the Hake Report, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. They're trying to compete with Trump. It's his birthday coming up. Flag Day 250 celebration. They're going to be celebrating the military. They're going to have a military parade. And we haven't seen that in a long time. And so Hake is saying, in his opinion, they're trying to compete. But they're trying it in the wrong way, Hake. But I just know it's a mess. What a mess! So I got some sound bites I want to play for you, because a lot of people are going to know what's happening in L.A., Jesse. I've been hearing about these riots. Thank God and his son Jesus that Trump is bringing in help. National Guard, the military folks, and then Karen Bass supposed to be like controlling the city. Karen Bass can't even control her way out of a paper bag. How's she going to control the city? She need a man over her to tell her what to do. If you're going to let her be the mayor, she need to be guided by a man over her that knows what he's doing. Poor Karen Bass. Don't blame her. She was born black and female. What the? So I got some soundbite about this riot that is happening. The first soundbite is from Fox News. Pro-immigrant protesters are looting LA shops. Watch this from Fox News.
Another night of riots in LA. Looters have taken over blocks downtown. Everything from Apple stores to sushi joints ransacked. Because you need a new iPhone and a spicy tuna roll to fight ICE.
This is so ridiculous. Doesn't look like this is for they're protesting for ICE or anything. This is they're doing just for the looting the stores and everything. I saw they break into the Apple store.
Crazy, very sad, very terrible. People are stupid.
Very bad. You know, I'm not a big guy. I'm not a big fish.
A crowd that claims they're fighting for immigrants' rights is looting stores owned by immigrants and spray painting death to America. What's their cause again?
Amazing, huh? Human beings don't love human beings. It don't matter what race you call yourself. These people pretend they're out there protesting, which is a riot, for the immigrants, they say. And yet they're robbing the immigrants, destroying their businesses. It's like your mother tell you, I love you, but get mad at you when you apologize for resenting her, and then she go and build an army against you. But she love you. There was a body found. This is while peaceful protest hurled sidewalk chunk. Are you going to see this guy with a hammer breaking up the sidewalk there, and they're taking those bricks, stones, and throwing them at the police and everybody. Let ye without sin catch the first stone, huh? What the? And some person delivered riot gear. So what appears to be riot gears. Who is funding that? Watch this.
Overnight, a body was found near a looted T-Mobile. And so-called peaceful protesters have been smashing up sidewalks with hammers and then throwing the chunks of cement at cops. Trump calls it an insurrection.
It is.
People with big, heavy hammers pounding the concrete and pounding curbs, pounding it, breaking up, and handing these big chunks of concrete to people. And they were taking that concrete, going up on bridges and dropping it into the roof of a car. They were throwing it at our police. They were throwing it at our soldiers that are there. I could tell you there were certain areas of Los Angeles that you could have called it an insurrection. It was terrible. But these are paid insurrectionists. These are paid troublemakers. They get money.
And some of these bad hombres are showing up with riot gear. A black truck was spotted distributing face shields. Watch.
It just feels like something's going to happen, and you're waiting for it to happen.
Looks like a bionic shield is what that's called. I mean, that's not the kind of thing that you buy in bulk if you don't plan on doing something with it. And the fact that that's being handed out kind of like candy to everybody there gives you an indication that these folks probably plan to be here for a while.
Wonder who's paying for that. Probably USAID.
Isn't it amazing? Somebody, according to a report, sent a truckload of riot gear to these people. Who did that? These people that are out there burning and rioting, they have no idea what they're doing. Really, they don't. And they get a thrill from robbing you, breaking in. They're just there for the thrill. They're there for the thrill. They don't know they're being used right now. All angry people are asleep and dumb. That's why two angry people marry each other, because they're dumb, and then they fight, and then two devils fighting. And then they try to make love happen. What the? Isn't that amazing? Somebody had delivered a bunch of riot gear to these people. And some people say, oh, George Soros is behind this. Well, how can we never catch George? How can all these years I've been, and I'm not saying George Soros is not behind it at all, because that's all I ever hear. But why we never catch George paying for these things? The liberal media nor the conservative media prove we need to see George doing this. It sounds like it may not be just George. Somebody else is doing it too. George got a lot of money, but he ain't got that much money. Somebody else is funding these things as well. And what's really amazing, there are so many amazing things about this, but what's really amazing is that these people are burning the American flag while flying with the Mexican flag. Think about that. And all this is happening in the United States of America. This is not happening overseas the way it used to happen. It is now made into our land. And I hear that the Democrats have told these people, y'all need to stop with the Mexican flag and start flying American flags. You got to cover up a little bit more. Watch these people burning the American flag. And then another organizer called it a war. This is from Fox.
Liberals realized waving Mexican flags was a bad look, so they started passing out American flags, saying, wave these flags instead. It's better optics. And the crowd said thanks and took the American flags and burned them. One of the guys organizing these riots said this is war.
This weekend was marked with absolute and total violence, brutal repression, and attacks, coordinated attacks against our community. For us as indigenous people to these lands, to this continent, this is nothing new. The military going after us is nothing new. We don't advocate for violence, but when they use brutal violence against our people and kidnapping mothers and fathers from children is violent. When they do things like that, we have every right, every historic right to defend our communities by any ways that we can, and we're going to continue to do so.
Amazing. And it doesn't matter that we came into the country illegally. We're going to turn on you in your own country if you don't accept us. And we're going to burn down your country. We're going to fight. We're not going to fight at home against our oppressors. We're going to go illegally into your country, America, and we're going to fight you if you don't want us there. It's a war. And I dare you to get mad, America. They're telling you that. They're going to fight. We're going to burn your flag. We're going to fly the Mexican flag, even though we left there because Mexico had nothing to offer. And you had better goods. And we illegally went into your country. And now we're going to fight you. We don't have the same courage to fight in Mexico, but we got the courage to fight in America, even though we're lawbreakers. Now take that. I have to tell you that Jesse Ward, I don't know anyone who can present a case as clearly, along with sound bites, as Jesse Ward does. He just lays it out, and you have to not want to see it. You have to, I don't want to see that. This is from CNN suggesting Mexico should take California back. This is from Fox News. What's this?
CNN says we should just raise the white flag and let Mexico have California back.
Remember that California was part of Mexico. All of the Southwest is Mexico. So the roots are really deep in that region. And what they're saying is, no, not in our community.
We won the Mexican-American War. Mexico signed a treaty. LA is not an Indian reservation. I'm sorry, it's a part of the United States. Notice how the rest of the media isn't even interviewing the rioters. It's almost like they don't ask questions because they know they're not going to like the answers. Here's why.
We don't agree with the term illegal. We're undocumented. We've been here for thousands of years before you guys showed up. Screw up everything. We're anti-capitalist. We think socialism does work, real socialism.
Is there a country we can look to kind of model the socialism idea?
The only model would be Soviet Union the first 4 years.
That right there says it all.
Amazing, huh? When I heard this guy say that they want to take back America, California, I mean, it reminded me of the blacks over in Mommy Africa. They said that, oh, we want Africa back. We want South Africa back. And they fought and they accused, and then no one protected white people over there. And then whites finally gave up the city and moved into their farmland. And now the blacks are destroying them even out there, even though they're fighting back now. That man remind me of that. California don't belong to y'all. What the? California is not yours, Mexico. And stop listening to your Mexican leaders telling you that. They're lying to you. They're doing to you exactly what the NAACP and the so-called radical civil rights leaders have done to the blacks. They're lying to you for power and wealth. And they're like, what y'all, and they belong to y'all, this Mexican guy saying, you came over here and screwed up America. Okay then, if you believe that, go back home and clean up Mexico. If you did such a good job of cleaning up. They're going to take back, they've been saying that for a long time too. I want you to watch how the Democrats are choosing the rioters over U.S. citizens. Watch this.
So guess what side the Democrats are on?
Let me be clear. Congressional Democrats stand in full solidarity with the residents of Los Angeles, with our immigrant sisters and brothers, and with the peaceful protesters who dare to speak out and who will support every effort to oppose this president's abuse of power.
Democrats are telling cops to stand down and rioters to stand up.
What a mess, huh? I told y'all once. I've told you twice. I told you 1,000 times. You will live to regret that you allowed the blacks to have leadership in your country. This is what you get. You said to the enemy, okay, come on, we're going to vote you in. We know you're not qualified. We're going to give you DEI, affirmative action, welfare, all kind of mess. Come on in. And you allowed the blacks in, and they hate America. And they're going to be on anyone's side that is against America as well. And they are even supporting Alawaba people. Remember all the city, when they were, and they still are, I believe, protesting at university? You saw some blacks up in there. You turn your household over to your enemy. Not all, but most black people do not love America. They don't care about America. All they want to do is riot and get what they can get. And there are some other color riot folks up in there too, but you vote. And look at all these foreigners that have come into our country and now they're in government. You got the blacks who hate America and foreigners who hate America. You let them come in and become part of the government, the lawmakers, and they're going to bring their same old crap over here, same mindset, and give to us what they had over there. What they doing over here when they should be over there? What a mess! And I told you over and over again, as I tried to warn you with the fallen Messiah, Barack Obama, don't vote for him. Obama would turn the country into a ghetto. I wasn't lying about that one. And it's the same way I warned you about Karen Bass. Do not vote for Karen Bass as mayor of L.A. There was another man, a man that was a white man. What was his name, Nick? You remember? That he ran against for mayor. But he was a smart man. And I don't know if he was Republican or Democrat.
Caruso?
Caruso?
Rick Caruso?
I think so. But Rick Caruso, I'm like, vote for Rick. Karen Bass don't know how to run it. She doesn't know how to run anything. And you turn a big city like this over to Karen Bass. Here's what Karen Bass said. The riots will end once the raids stop. Watch this.
L.A. Mayor Karen Bass says the riots will stop once the ICE raids stop.
I would say stop the raids. Stop the raids, period. I would say give the power back to our governor
And if we need the National Guard, we can do it in the normal circumstances, which is the request is made local and the governor decides or not to grant that to our city.
We're getting extorted by the LA mayor. It's like a hostage crisis, but she's threatening to burn her own city down. Trump, not a guy who likes being extorted.
Mr. President, these protests obviously started in reaction to these large-scale ICE operations in Los Angeles. Should people expect to see similar operations in the rest of the country?
No.
And will similar protests see similar response?
As you know, we're moving murderers out of our country that were put here by Biden or the auto pen. The auto pen really did it. We're not going to let them stay. And this is the first, perhaps, of many, or perhaps, if we didn't attack this one very strongly, you'd have them all over the country. But I can inform the rest of the country that when they do it, if they do it, they're going to be met with equal or greater force than we met right here.
Amazing. Now you see why we need old school men, white men running America. This is what they used to do. They put America first in the good old days. Before the stupid civil rights movement, the worst thing that ever happened to the blacks other than abortion. White men ran America. White men founded America and made it great with the help of God. And you took a great thing, turned it over to unqualified people who can't even run their own community. If they turn their own communities into ghettos, what makes you think they want to turn the country into ghettos? Oh, you're afraid. You don't want to be called names. You don't want to be called a racist. So you give up your country. And then you give up your children and everything to these folks. Your schools, and look what you got. I can't get over the idea that foreigners are involved in our government, making decisions in our government. Is everybody crazy? Yes, Jesse. Everyone that has anger is evil, and every evil person is crazy, mentally ill. They can't make any sense of life at all. Everything they do turn out wrong. Yes, Jesse, they are crazy. All angry people are insane. Think about the insane decisions you have made when just on your level of life, you have never made a good decision. Think about it. And you put these people in our government. If ever we needed you, Lord, we need you now. Amazing. So here is where the liberals are saying ICE act like slave catchers. Watch this.
The LA mob is fired up because Democrats called ICE Nazis and the Gestapo. And now they're calling them slave catchers.
This reminds me historically of it's not a clear analogy, but when the nation, when these political factions divided the nation in between slaveholders and slave catchers, with ICE running around LA, forcing people to make choices. Will they protect their friends, their neighbors, their family members?
That makes Barack Obama the biggest slave catcher in America because he had Tom Homan rounding up a record number of illegals.
Amazing. And also, aren't you tired of the blacks using slavery for everything? Everything ain't slavery. And they know nothing about slavery. They don't even know that a whole bunch of folks had slaves. If you doubt me, ask Big Bob. The next time he was here with Hake. Over in Kentucky or somewhere over there, everybody and their mama, black, had slaves. Isn't that amazing? I'm sick of the blacks and their slave excuses. Everybody want to be a victim, except baby Jessica's daddy. Everything ain't slavery, man. And how long you think that's going to work? Illegal aliens. And you notice that, illegals here, but you notice that these blacks never mention that there are many black people who own slaves. So that those black owners of slaves send out other blacks to catch some slaves. Or that they send out white people to catch slaves, like ICE. I just got a text from a friend concerning George Soros. Remember I was saying, how come we can't catch George Soros if he's funded all this stuff? And I'm not saying that he's not. I have no idea. He said George Soros doesn't give money directly to the protester. He hides behind nonprofit organization that uses the money to support liberal causes. So he can give the money to liberal organizations that are against America. That may be true. Let's interview George and ask him, why is he doing this? Oh, no, not George, Lord. Not George, Lord. Amazing, huh? Democrats are making excuses for the rioters. Watch this.
So after lying to us, extorting us, and then calling us Nazi slave owners, Democrats are covering up the riots like Biden's brain.
It's no different than when a team wins a national championship and people get overexcited and they overturn vehicles and light them on fire. Local law enforcement is prepared to handle those types of situations. Marines and National Guardsmen are not.
Yeah, Dodgers fans went a little nuts when they beat the Yankees, but this is a 5-day riot. Pelosi said cut them some slack. People are just feeling a little exuberant.
When there is a gathering, a large gathering of people, the anarchists see it as an opportunity and they move in. So always have to be careful whether you see a burned car or broken window or whatever it is. It may be the exuberance of the moment, but it may be the anarchist setting in.
Oh, so when they're breaking into your businesses and taking your merchandise, and they're just excited. It may be the anarchists. No, give them some slack. They just lost or won a ball game. That's why they're breaking in and burning cars and everything. They're excited. But don't worry, I'm in the government. They ain't gonna burn my car. My car is locked behind gates, they say. Security guard that you pay for, by the way. These people don't love you, and you vote in the same people. Democrats, pay attention, the voters. These people want, it's been said that the more people you have in a city or state, the more representatives you can have from that state. They need every illegal they can get, the Democrats, so that they can get representation, more Democrats in government, so that the Democrats can get more money and power for themselves, not for you. Karen Bass watched as the city burned down. She did nothing about it. And the wicked witch of the West with the low IQ, Maxine Waters. Oh, I was out in the street. I ain't seen no violence, no justice, no peace. Remember when Maxine Waters protesting in the street with the gang members? No justice, no justice, no peace. Well, maybe she doesn't see it because she's so old now she can't see. Maybe that's why she didn't see it. She said, I ain't seen no violence. I was out there. Watch this from Fox.
Maxine Waters, no relation, says, what violence? I don't see any violence.
Even those who were out of step with what we are advocating, peaceful protest, did not create any violence. Nobody was shot. Nobody was killed. Get it in your head. Don't think that somehow, because they called out the National Guard, there was violence. There was no violence. I was on the street. I know.
I didn't see violence is the new I didn't see Biden decline. The whole country sees violence on their TVs, on their phones.
Just because you see them throwing rocks at the police, setting fire, burning the American flag, robbing, breaking in jewelry stores and places, you don't see violence. That's not, you see a peace. You don't see violence, and you want these blacks to run your country. And you want, and you let, and you vote these people in. You get the kind of government you deserve. So don't complain. It's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. You better be glad Donald Trump is controlled. It could be already. The city can be burned down already if Donald Trump wasn't there. Maxine, why is he no violent? You don't really see burning. You don't really see people throwing rocks at cops and things like that. That ain't happen. Close your eyes. And you close your eyes only for a moment. And the moment is gone. This guy from CNN, Brian, what is it? Stelter, warned you might be watching old content. This is not real. It's from way back yonder in the 60s. Watch this from Fox News.
Stelter says, don't be confused by what you watch. The violence could be from 2 hours ago.
You got to be careful at a delicate moment like this to look at the timestamps, look at the dates, look at when things are actually posted, and if they're really from the situation they're purporting to be. A lot of these algorithms are surfacing hours old or even days old content. So you might be looking at a video of something, wondering what's happening in LA. It's actually from 2 days ago. And that's, it only matters because it can give people a false impression of what's actually happening at a moment of unrest.
Where would we be without Brian Stelter to explain the concept of time? The riot started on Friday, and today is Tuesday.
And it's still happening. If ever we needed you, Lord, we need you now. Whatever happened to America being a Christian nation? And LA County officer warned, believe what you see, accusing Newsom, Gavin Newsom, of adding fuel to the fire. Watch this.
LA County police say you should believe your own eyes.
Every single police officer and deputy sheriff right now wants this to end. Unfortunately, the governor of California is 100% adding fuel to the flames. His rhetoric is one thing. What he says is one thing. What he does is another. He is absolutely part of the problem that we're seeing here. And so there is a lack of cooperation with the state of California and local officials.
Amazing, huh? It's amazing to me that American citizens vote in people who desperately try to deceive you for power and wealth. They don't want you to recognize what you see. They're telling you, look the other way and vote for me and suffer. And you do it. Tell me that an angry person is not insane. The great white hope, Donald Trump, had a phone call with Newsom, but Newsom said it never happened. Watch this.
Gavin's giving folks room to riot just like tampon. Same thing happened in the summer of love. Democrat governors let violence fester until finally Trump restored order. Trump's not waiting around this time. He says if it wasn't for him, LA would be up in smoke.
It would.
Called him up to tell him, got to do a better job. He's doing a bad job, causing a lot of death and a lot of potential death. If we didn't send out the National Guard, and last time we gave him a little additional help, you would have, Los Angeles would be burning right now. The radical left, it's usually radical left, and it's usually governors that are Democrat, and they don't want to call them in. They don't want to save lives. They don't want to save property. They don't want to call them in. I don't know what it is.
Newsom responded, and he said there wasn't a phone call. He said Trump never called him. Not even a voicemail, he said. But John Roberts got Trump's call logs. And it shows Trump called him late Friday night and they talked for 16 minutes. Why would Newsom lie and claim Trump never called him? Why would he do that?
Wow. And y'all vote for these people. Remember there was a recall thing on Newsom, Gavin. And the people still voting back in. They're like, no, we want hell. We want more hell. It's like when you live in your imagination, You can't get enough hell. And the proof is in the pudding. You keep consulting with the same thoughts over and over again. They keep deceiving you, and then they laugh at you every time you listen to them. They say, oh, no, you've been married before. That wasn't the right wife, or that wasn't the right husband. Get another one. And you go and get another one, and the misery starts all over again. Never laugh. And then the thoughts laugh. They laugh at you in the same way the Democratic representative and the media laughing at you. Karen Bass is having a hooting at the time, knowing that y'all voted her in, and may even vote her in again because she's a black female. In the same way you keep believing thoughts. You keep believing the devil, and you call him Jesus. Or you call him you. Same thing. It's a spiritual battle. Same thing. Democrats are urging the National Guard, don't obey, don't do your job, don't bring peace to the city. We need chaos. We want these people to vote for us. Don't obey, National Guard. Watch this.
Gavin could have called up the Guard Friday night and could have stopped the violence and saved millions of dollars in damages. But we're now on our 5th day of mayhem, and Newsom suing Trump to send the Guard home. And California congressmen, they're telling the National Guard to disobey orders.
The legal provision Donald Trump is relying on to deploy the National Guard under 10 U.S.C. Section 12406, he is violating the law because that provision very clearly says that the governors of the states have to give the order, and Governor Newsom clearly didn't do that. And this is very important. I ask every National Guard member to read their orders, read the law, and then decide for themselves if they're following an unlawful order.
Ted Lieu is a lawyer, and he doesn't know what the law is. Presidents have mobilized the Guard and overruled governors before. Washington did it for the Whiskey Rebellion. Grant sent federal forces to South Carolina to stop the Klan from preying on blacks. Eisenhower used the 101st Airborne in Little Rock when the Democrat governor there was fighting desegregation. And Kennedy put down segregationist rallies in Mississippi. Trump's just wielding the power that the country gave him in a landslide. He swept the battlegrounds, won the popular vote, and moved almost every county in the country to the right, including L.A. County. And he's not the one who mandated vaccines and censored you and prosecuted his rivals and disobeyed the courts. That was AutoPen.
And the Democrat, like, don't do your work. Don't bring peace. We're not going to call in the National Guard. I don't know why Trump trying to help. I don't care how they burn it down. Remember Black Lives Matter? How they burn it down the city. We're not going to call anybody. And this guy, Ted Lieu, is total beta. This man's so beta, they need to send him back to China. I debated Ted Lieu before. He is pathetic. And you guys obey them just because they have a title. You won't tell them how the cow ate the cabbage. When will you wake up? What will it take? And then last, soundbite on this, Jesse Warner closed this out, right? And it's so clear. It's so precise. You have to not want to hear or see it or know the truth. Why? He said that the left can no longer control the narrative. Watch this.
The Democrats can't control the narrative anymore. Trump's not a dictator, and these riots are violent. They said no one's above the law. Remember that? But they let illegals break into the country and then hide them in their cities and then attack ICE when they move in to do their job. These riots are getting no cultural traction. None. No one's posting Mexican flags on Instagram. No one's taking a knee with a sombrero. Companies aren't being blackmailed into donating millions to an open borders charity. It's not happening like BLM, remember? Yeah. These LA riots make January 6th look like a picnic. And Karen and Gavin, couldn't stop fires, clean up the homeless, fight crime, or shut down the virus. What makes you think they'd shut down this riot? Is the real reason they're fighting ICE this hard because the more migrants they deport from California, the less congressional seats the state gets? Remember, the census counts people, not citizens. So they're burning down their own city to maintain political power. If they're capable of that, they're capable of anything.
I rest my case. Perfectly laid out. No one else can do that but Hake of the Hake Report and Hake of the Hake News. What we got to do right now, when I come back straight to your calls, I want you to see what's going on, folks. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.